Nobody saw that.
A for effort.
It's fine. It was perfect. Anyway, SamuelTsao.
We're not just screaming in our ears.
Yeah, it's great. SamuelTsao versus Pathra is coming right up for you guys right now, and it's going to be a Hunter versus Rogue. So we heard from Staz earlier that he was like, yeah, Hunter versus Rogue is. You just don't want it if you're the Hunter player, right? It can be very, very difficult. We can check out the deck list in just a second of the players to dive right in because. Wait, who did he play? Rivius.
Yes.
Rivius had a slightly uncommon build of the Rogue list, but let's check out Patra's Rogue and see what it's looking like right now, because I believe Patra's playing something a little bit more common and standard, just with that Burgle package, and you can see the Blink Foxes are there, the Hench Clans there, the Vendettas there, and everything else looks roughly correct.
Yeah, this is a bit of a diverting from Pathra, because I remember the first week I was casting in week 5 of Asia Pacific with Hunter Race. Pathra brought a very unique build of Rogue with a double deadly poison in there, with the Captain Greenskin as well, even without the raiding party package. And I think if she had stuck with that deck, she'd be very happy, I think, going into this situation where she can go for a much more aggressive game plan. But this is the much more tried and true version of Rogue. The Vendettas, we've seen how ridiculously powerful they can be.
Yep, and then let's check out her opponent, which is going to be SamuelTsao on the Hunter, and see what he is bringing to the table. As I believe, again, this is just, I think if we could, and this might not be the best selling point in the world, but for this week of GM, I think safe is just the key word. And whether you like that or not, you are seeing overall the strongest decks today go against each other. And, you know, for that last week, that last push to get to maybe that top 3, I'd probably do the same if I was in that boat, if I'm honest.
I agree. And, you know, honestly, it feels like we are approaching the point where this meta, in terms of Specialist and Grandmasters specifically, where you're only facing 2 opponents a week, it's getting close to being solved. I think that it was shaken up a little bit by the recent nerfs, the recent buffs, the recent Hall of Fames. Like, there's been a lot of
recent snipping of snaps.
Exactly. There's been a lot of up and down. It's been a pretty crazy expansion this year, with a lot of very, very cool stuff indeed happening to Hearthstone. But I think I am looking forward to Season 2 of Grandmasters in particular, where we're playing with the new expansion.
Yeah, and I think, believe it or not, timings are relatively decent because they were planned to be so. Because this season will end. There is the playoffs next week, of course, which is a slightly different format as well, Indeed. So that's not quite straightforward. It's not just another week of Grandmasters for you guys. But then, you know, there's going to be a break, and then I do not know the dates and the release dates and such exactly off the for the expansion, but the expansion will almost certainly, I'll say, because I'm not allowed to show what I'm allowed to say, will be out for Grandmasters Season 2, because it's going to be like end of August, right, for Grandmasters. So it's likely, which means it's going to... I'm just digging holes here. I'll try not to.
Oh, and you're fired.
Yeah, I was like, wait for... Oh, okay, I'm sorry. But most importantly, yes, every season is more than likely going to line up to a new meta, a new expansion.
I hope so.
And if we get a level of changes as well that we've had this season, that's just a decent timeline for me in terms of the ups and downs of Grandmaster seasons.
I agree. I think the Hearthstone expansions at the moment are on a roll. I have loved all the recent Hearthstone expansions. I think they're reaching a very good point with just the design philosophy in general. Even quests that are coming back, it would seem, with the new expansion and Saviors of Uldum. I think they look pretty cool. I was skeptical of the first round of quests because I think they warped the gameplay a little bit too heavily. But these ones look super cool. They're not too devastatingly powerful, and also they're very difficult to activate. Warlock's quest, drawing 20 cards, I think it is. You have to build your deck in a super specific way in order to get that benefit, or it's just going to be a bit of rubbish when you're down to only a few cards left in your deck.
Yeah, I think they're just deck enhancers more than just the keystone of the deck itself, maybe. But what the heck do I know about predicting card power? Most important, let's get back to this game. Pathra versus SamuelTsao. This is pretty much a bottom of the table game.
Yes,
these two players have been sitting at the bottom of Division B for, I want to say, all, if not most, of the season. Maybe week 1 was a bit different based on who won and lost, of course. But it does mean, like I said, if I was in this spot, regardless of score, I want to end the season on the best score possible. So both these players will be playing pretty hard to win this match. Hunter versus Rogue, and I'll just instantly give the favor to Pathra purely based on the matchup. I think Rogue is such a rough matchup for Hunter that if you slip once, they just get the board, they keep the board, and then you die very quickly, not long after that.
I agree. I think Patra's got the advantage here in terms of decks. I also think In terms of in-game play, I think the last couple of weeks they've been playing actually some very solid Hearthstone. I think a big turnaround for both of these players. SamuelTsao, however, sticking with the Druid for the last couple of weeks. I think while he piloted it very well, I am skeptical of his reasoning to bring it. I have to be honest, because I think it's not one of the 4 powerhouse classes at the moment in Rogue, Warrior, Mage, and Hunter that we're seeing from the vast majority of players. And I think if his reasoning was to counter Mage, which the mech version kind of felt like it was doing, it wasn't a good enough reason to do so. And there are better ways to counteract the Mage. Right, exactly. Play the Hunter. Play a Rogue that's tech to beat Mage in the primary. And I think he piloted the Druid pretty well. But the main point I'm rising towards here is I'm very glad he's switching away from the Druid, because even if he'd been playing a good deck for the last few weeks, I think players are showing in Grandmasters that being unpredictable is a big asset in your game plan, because it makes players unable to counter you with their primary deck. And we've seen the players who are sticking with the same thing for long periods of time suffer. Sylvaner, with his Mech Hunter, had very, very little success with it despite sticking on it. Mech Hunter does suck, which is a reason why. I agree with you on that one. But I think showing flexibility is very important in Grandmasters.
Yep, and these players are just getting ready and getting into it. We're not just waiting for the fun of it, of course. Although it is fun talking to Derek sometimes. But yeah, I think it's been a very interesting ride in Season 1, because the players have basically had to learn not only a new format in the form of exactly specialists, but a new tournament style in their weekly league play, submitting for just 2 opponents every week throughout ongoing buffs, nerfs, new cards being removed. Has been such a weird learning experience. I imagine Season 2 will, depend on meta of course, get very, very streamlined very quickly, and I don't mean that in a solved way, but I mean how players now have learnt and approached the game plan of Grandmasters. I think it'll be much stronger play overall and stronger deck submission.
And I think the important thing is that not everyone will streamline their decks that quickly. The best deck builders and the best preparers will come ahead in the first week, which I'm very excited for. Because I think in Grandmasters in particular, that's been a very big and clear difference between, for example, GM, the regular league weeks of play we've seen, and Masters Tour at Las Vegas. With Dog winning that tournament with his super interesting kind of freeze hybrid Luna's Pocket Galaxy Mage, I don't think he would have had the liberty to bring that to Grandmasters, to be honest, because he does not know that there's going to be such a, or he won't be able to predict with as much consistency such a high volume of Warriors. Whereas in the Masters Tour event in Las Vegas, it was majority Warriors. There were a huge amount, I think it was like almost 40% of the players brought Warriors. Dog predicted that, exploited it with his Mage deck, and got a very deserving win, which is, I think, an interesting dynamic that we have between the Masters Tour and Grandmasters.
It's really weird, isn't it, that it's not strictly true what I'm about to say before people pick it apart, but it feels like it's easier to predict a much bigger field than it is to predict two people, which sounds wrong, because if I said, you know, try and predict what these 2 people picking a color, that should, like, numerically be easier than picking what 100 people are going to pick for a color separately. But because you're doing a field of a limited amount of classes available, because everyone can only take 1, it just works out a little bit easier. You can get a much more broader range because you know your opponents are also doing the same.
Well, I think it's less that it's easier, it's more that the punish is a lot less severe. Because, for example, for Dog, whether it was 38% Warriors or 42% Warriors, that's like a huge amount of players bringing different decks, but it's not that different for him, right?
He's still he's still
likely to face Warriors, whereas in Grandmasters, your opponents either bring Warrior or they don't. It's discrete. It's a binary yes or no.
It's like Hearthstone. You win or you lose. 50%.
Fair enough.
Okay, well, sorry for that delay. I am sure. I'm going to guess it was a bathroom break. I don't know, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Pathra versus SamuelTsao. Pathra on the top on the Rogue, and SamuelTsao on the bottom on the Hunter. Eric's making weird noises.
Powering up already. Give us your best Super Saiyan scream, Raven.
Wow, did I miss something? Was I looking
Look at that shirt.
Oh, I didn't even look. There you go. Vegeta is actually my favorite character from that show.
Oh, yes. I love Goku.
You don't know Dragon Ball very well, do you?
He's my favorite Pokemon. No, I have not seen Dragon Ball.
there are a couple of great characters, Vegeta and Whis. But anyway, get into this game. Patrick going to be able to clear up this Shimmer Fly, and the problem here is outside of this Animal Companion, SamuelTsao hand is quite slow. Yeah, okay, just checking the spell. It's quite slow. Okay, Animal Companion back to back.
It's starting to turn around.
But this hand for Patra's really good.
Yeah, this isn't even necessarily the premium anti-rogue hand, because you want to set up for a powerful mid-game a lot of the time, more so than an aggressive early game. Because hands like this kind of get torn to pieces. This is what rogue does best. Little cheap ways of doing damage early on with Backstab, Vendetta, SI7 engine. They clear up these boards for breakfast. Whereas for SamuelTsao, he's definitely looking to move towards combos like Scale High. Dire Frenzy would be super powerful. Ooh, that's a tough choice. All of these actually have their merits. Probably Snake Trap?
Snake. And I think it's Snake because your opponent won't know what secret it is, and it makes people play worse.
Very good point.
That's literally what, because like Goblin Prank's probably third for me, purely because Unleash is in the hand for revenge.
Yeah.
But Snake just makes your opponent play worse, and it's not even your opponent's fault that they're playing worse. They just often have to.
Yes, they just do not have the information they need. I agree.
Liberties.
It becomes a little like Pathra. If she sees a secret come down, it's not just equal chances to be any secret, because obviously there are certain secrets you would not pick against 2 average hunter spells, right? Yeah. Like obviously if you got the complete garbage spells that don't do anything, you'd still pick something like Misdirection, I don't know, like one of the less powerful secrets.
Even Explosive Trap's probably not powerful here,
right,
is it?
Exactly. So Pathra will definitely be giving more credence to Snake Trap and Rat Trap, I think. Because obviously if they were up against other secrets, which could also have been the other options, SamuelTsao would have picked the better secrets. But overall, I agree, Patra's going to have a hard time playing effectively around Snake Trap.
So the power level of secrets has gone right down the pan, hasn't it? Based on what we've had in Wandering Monster, Cat Trick,
okay.
Bear Trap, I think was awesome.
Like, Rat Trap is a super strong card.
Rat Trap's good, but there's like one good secret right now. And that's partly due to meta, but it's also just like, wow, we had some insane secrets.
Cat Trick was insane, wasn't it?
Yes, that's what I mean.
It was ridiculous. Oh man, I've been...
Imagine Cat Trick today.
I don't know what it is. I've been reminiscing a lot about old cards the other day and just thinking, man, there was some nutty cards.
Alex Strauss' champion.
That was a strong card. Yeah, what was it? Admirable was talking about, like, if Totem Golem overloaded you for 6, I'd still play it. And then I was just like, man, Tunnel Trog was ridiculous, wasn't it? Like, what a ludicrous card to put in your game.
Yeah. We're not allowed 1-mana 1/3s that often anymore. Not aggressive ones, anyway.
It's true, yeah. There's very few.
Mana Worm gone. 2-mana town.
Pathra, with the decision to go for the swing with Waggle Pick instead of the Vendetta, she had obviously only ruled out Snipe exactly as an option there. But it's actually a pretty miserable time to activate the Snake Trap for her, I would say. This opens up some pretty aggressive options for SamuelTsao, even if he just launches everything in face.
There's SI, though.
It's not terrible. But,
I think the swing for me was more like the key reason was there's another Waggle Pick in hand. So it's like if you use Vendetta, then your removal gets a little bit more restricted.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because now there's Vendetta and Waggle Pick as flexible removal and Mark Shot.
And it was only in the case of Snake Trap that
yeah, everything else was fine.
Everything else was good, yeah. And again, it's difficult to play around secrets effectively.
Oh. Cybertech Chip and Unleash the Hound.
Oh yeah.
Name a more iconic duo.
Oh,
there are many.
I
just want you to name them all. But still, this is a good turn. It's shocking me that SamuelTsao's even waiting right now.
I mean, it's not like...
Compared to the other turns you can make, I think it is very good.
Yeah. But is Cybertech what he really wants to do here? Like, I agree he'll probably end up on it, but even just going like Unleash double trade Deadly Shot is tempting. Or even just Hero Power. Like, going aggressive here has its upsides.
Yeah, the rest of his cards suck, though.
Yes.
And he wants better cards, and you do that by re-rolling, like, what, 5 better cards?
I agree that this is the play he will end up on. I hope he doesn't trade this S either. I think these need to go face.
Mulch, I like it.
Right, it doesn't cost 10, at the very least.
I would trade now out of principle because I
No.
just want to see better mechs. I'm like, come on! Like, where are the good mechs?
Yeah, but you're a degenerate re-roller in TFT, so I would expect nothing less from you.
I mean, in that specific thing, before I do get fired, is just correct actually. Most of the time. But anyway, let's get back to this game, Mr. Derek Brown.
Yes, I apologize.
Look, just because you've been here a few weeks now, getting all confident, I can ship you back over to America if you want. Give you back to Admirable.
Yeah, my self-doubt isn't quite so crippling anymore. How terrible for me.
I love light-hearted jokes. So there's a few options here now for Pathra. The tough one is it's not fun to deal with any of these minions. And if you deal with the minions this turn, yes, it removes damage from the board, but it also just hands SamuelTsao more options. I mean, that can happen anyway, but it just feels like an awkward turn overall. I think Pathra might just go face. Is that bad? Do you really want to deal with these 1/1s?
Not really.
Yeah. I think face the Shadow Step Life Drinker, which is fine.
The fact there's Life Drinker there is all the difference in the world.
There's Sap if a Nutty Mech does come out.
Yeah.
I guess backstabbing 1 makes a bit of sense because it means the SI doesn't just die. Okay.
Not a bad mech, to be fair.
I've seen worse. Like the other 2 cards he drew.
What SamuelTsao, I think, will realize, though, is that this is a go-face hand. It's not particularly powerful. Like, he can develop stuff along while he goes, like, while he stands the rest of his minions' face.
I think Clockwork Goblin into Shimmerfly into Deadly Shot when you trade one is fine.
Oh, I want to see hero power. I'm looking at, like, Vicious Scalehide, hero power, like Vicious Scalehide trade, Deadly Shot hero power. Like, I know it doesn't develop much stats, but maybe that's too weak to the Life Drinker.
I just think you put a 3/3 on the board and you shuffle a bomb in the deck. Like, it's just not bad. I mean, you can trade first to see if you're ever going to Deadly Shot this 3/3. You trade first, see what the mech is, because that could change.
Unless you're going to play Scalehide, and then you get extra damage to face. And healing with the Scalehide for 1 and getting it to stick on board is not that bad. So this play, as opposed to my play of Hero Power Deadly Shot, develops an extra 1/1, keeps a Deadly Shot, but misses 2 damage in response. It's probably a fair trade-off. But I think it's kind of close. Like the extra damage, I just think is super valuable.
It is.
Because if Pathra doesn't have the Life Drinker, which is reasonably likely, you can put yourself in a fantastic position.
And there's also the weird, I'm not saying it's strictly true, but the weird thing of you could have removed the minion for cheaper than you did.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Pathra used a minion and 4 mana instead of a spell and 3 mana, a spell of which Jade's got 2 of. So, although the mana utilization... Sorry?
Do you mean SamuelTsao?
Oh, sorry, SamuelTsao, yeah. So although the mana utilization was fine this turn, he used all his mana, of course, then it was just like when you know you have cheaper ways to do things and plenty of it, it's weird. It feels weird to use a minion when you could just use a spell. But still, this damage is starting to add up now. And you've got to imagine on average just 5 damage from that kill command most of the time. Plus the hero power is going to start to add up very, very quickly. Pathra's still got a good way to go with the 20 health, but this Life Drinker swing is going to start adding up. I like it. Life Drinker swing, play the Miscreant.
Yes, that's what I'm looking at too. Yeah, I like this. I think I really, really wanted to see the Life Drinker go back to hand here.
Because now there's Life Drinker, Shadow Step Life Drinker, the turn after, and this is going to start getting mildly silly. Ooh, Timber.
Ooh. That's nice. How much damage actually is that? It's 6, 8, 13.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't. For some reason, I just wasn't. I thought the Shimmerfly was a mech.
No.
I wonder.
So yeah, 13 damage, but obviously SamuelTsao knows the Life Drinkers in hand, which messes up the maths quite a lot. So I guess.
Now it just has to be Goblin Bomb, Deadly Shot, Hero Power, right?
You really wants to get that Timberwolf in play though. Like, I would rate that over Hero Power just because it pushes 3 damage.
Would you rate it over Goblin Bomb then?
Possibly.
And do both?
Yeah. Like
just Deadly Shot, Timberwolf, Hero Power?
Yeah, because even though Pathra has Life Drinker, sorry, and SamuelTsao knows it, it's still good to push damage. Like it's
you still got to win.
3 heal is not that much.
You still got to win the game, right?
Yeah.
If you push 4 and it heals for 3, you're ahead.
Yes.
So you get in there.
I like this.
With that many cards in deck. I mean, it does
I think
mean
it's reasonable. It's more the 3/3.
It's delayed damage, right?
Yeah. Pathra here with outs for lethal. 6. I guess actually there's very few outs for lethal off of the ethereal lackey. But I still like starting with it.
Take prep just to buff the cleave.
Yeah, I like that. It's decent with sap as well, just to get rid of the Clockwork Goblin.
In before Sap Clockwork Goblin.
I
SamuelTsao
knew-
replays the
I
Clockwork,
knew you were
double
gonna say
bomb,
that.
lethal go. Punished.
That would be ridiculous.
And that's why I like to see it.
I guess we could actually still see Mark Shot instead, right? It's just about how the mana shakes out. She goes Mark Shot, Life Drinker, Leroy. Sorry, Edwin, not Leroy.
But you could Life Drinker, Shadow Step, Life
She's got to be
Drinker.
fast. She's got to be super fast, whatever she does.
Yeah, I think you Sap because you want to Life Drinker, Shadow
Yes,
Step,
this is
Life
good, this is
Drinker,
good. Yeah.
Fan Cleave, right?
I agree.
That's really good. Wait. Oh, no Shadow Step?
Not stepping.
Whoa, dagger for 3 health?
Where kills off the Timberwolf, right? Which is basically 3 health being saved.
Oh,
anyway.
I guess. But now the Life Drinking can die.
But if she'd stepped it first, she was much weaker to Deadly Shot. It was really close.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a very tricky turn.
Really tough there for Pathra. I think it was probably correct what she did. Maybe she should have Shadow Stepped the 1/1 instead to make it more difficult for Deadly Shot to be good without sinking in damage to the Life Drinker first. But obviously, if there's not Deadly Shot, this is fantastic.
But also the other way around, where now there's 3 damage on board and 4 health to remove to make Deadly Shot 100%.
Fair enough.
So then it would need an extra damage.
And by saving the Shadow Step, she gives herself Leroy outs as well. Whoa. Pick up of Timberwolf means that is 6, 5, 1 damage off lethal, right?
3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Push 10 this turn.
6, 11, 13, 1 damage off lethal.
Yeah, wow.
He's miscounted. He was going for the lethal there. He has to just end up trading.
No.
This is miserable. He can clear the board.
Okay. He's just going to make sure he does it now. Push the damage, push. Did the snake hit? I don't think the snake hit, right? Oh, it did. Okay. At least he recovered and got the job done to a certain
You can see him
extent.
panicking for a second there, though. And obviously, by Patra's play of holding back the Shadow Step, even with this 2 heal, Leroy was an out, and Leroy continues to be an out if she deals with the Scale Hide. So, like, Mark Shot on the Scale Hide is... Oh, actually, does he just want to play triple Snip Snap? Could be triple Snip Snap, kill off the...
Well, that's
wolf.
too scary.
It's just too scary.
It's
It's
too
too
scary.
I agree.
That offering is scary as well because it's so bad.
Does Raiding Party get anything? She's played both Waggle Picks, right?
And there's no
Burglar.
pirates.
Burglar's the
Oh,
only
burglar.
pirate.
Yeah. Not that it matters though. Unplayable this turn.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
So
Man, these are
One more.
terrible. Daring Escape doesn't even give you like more outs with Leroy.
Oh, I guess it's double evolve. Oh no, it's not because
Yeah.
mana you'd back to your Shadow Step anyway. I guess evolve and then Shadow Step it.
No. You want to hold on to the Shadow Step because you want to give yourself Leroy outs.
Yeah, that looks scary.
9 lives can get Shimmerfly, and I think nothing else. Yes.
It's just lethal, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. Isn't it? Tundra Rhino, trade the snake in with the hyena on the board, and then you do 4, 5, 6, and then the kill command is 11.
Yeah. You're correct.
I was scared for a second.
No,
I was like,
I was
wow,
looking,
this is basic maths and I'm getting
I
it
wasn't
wrong.
looking at the scavenging hyena.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
you're correct. You're correct.
SamuelTsao, like,
He
wait,
sees it. He
2
sees it.
plus 4.
That is 7.
Yeah, if he's playing the hyena, he's going for it. Correct.
Yes.
Yep, that's 9, and then the kill command.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so a little bit.
Really close game.
Yeah, a little bit.
Really, really close. And for Pathra there at the end, there were obvious benefits of her play to not Shadow Step the Life Drinker, right? More stats on board. Difficult for for the Edwin to be killed off with a second deadly shot. The downside, however, was very clear. Less damage to face and less healing, which was, the real crux there is that she was close to coming back on board, very close to wrestling it back.
Yeah.
But the healing just wasn't quite there to keep
And this is
her
the
alive.
difficulties with Rogue, especially this type of Rogue, is that, for example, I was extremely tunneled on bounce that Life Drinker as often as possible because it kills that person and heals you. That is a good thing you normally want to do, but obviously, as you said, that quite rightly, there were other things to consider in defending that Van Cleave, as an example, and holding the Shadow Step as well. Very, very powerful card. But SamuelTsao is going to be 1-0 ahead against Pathra with his Hunter. We're going to see how the rest of the series shakes out right after this.
My name is Sam Braithwaite, and I'm the Senior Global Franchise Lead for Hearthstone Esports. This event was especially cool because it takes place right after the brand new expansion, Rise of Shadows. Historically in Hearthstone Esports, we do our big events like this towards the end of an expansion cycle, but we really wanted to shake things up and really showcase that not only is the world champion the person who can pilot the best decks, but also the person who, when presented with a brand new game, can put together the best decks leading into the World Championship. Cheers to you guys, the sold-out crowd here for the HCT 2019 World Championship.
Welcome back to 2019 HCT World Championship.
We've had a lot of fun games, and we're looking forward to the grand finals. Showdown. Viper versus Hunter Race. Only one can be the champion. Oh, come on!
Match be dead.
Wacko pick of this coming out from Hunter Race.
It's now or never. Arch-villain reform.
Okay! In a completely solved game, Hunter Race finds a way to maximize his chances. It's been a wonderful journey throughout the past few years of the Hearthstone Championship Tour, where stars were made and dreams came true.
What's up, Hearthstone fans? Welcome back to another episode of The Curve, where we draw the biggest headlines from this past weekend on Curve. I'm your host, SamuelTsao Welch. Let's do this. Last week, in the Asia-Pacific region, Alutemu was on top of the division and was almost locked in for a guaranteed playoff spot. Unfortunately, his 2 losses this weekend not only put his playoff spot in jeopardy, but also allowed the rest of his division peers to further complicate the postseason picture. In the current standings for Division A, all of the players except for Chiansu can now vie for the top 3 spots. In Division B, Shaxi's back-to-back wins clinched him a spot in the playoffs. Dawn and Glory are close to clinching as well, but will have to finish strong to secure their fate. After a shaky 3-4 start to Grandmasters, reigning world champion Hunter Race has rattled off 5 consecutive match wins, securing himself first place in the Division B standings heading into the final week of Season 1. This past weekend, he avenged 2 of his losses from earlier in the season by besting fellow former world champion Pavel, as well as Psycho, who fell to 2nd place in Division B. Over in Division A, close friends and practice partners Viper and Bunny Hopper faced off in a crucial match. Bunny Hopper won the series, setting both players' match records to 7-5. A clear 3-horse race for the 2 remaining Division A playoff spots alongside Finomino has formed between the 2 German players and Calento, who sits at 8-4 after a tough loss to Silvername. Teammates Frozen and Dog both beat a warrior and a mage with a rogue this weekend. They're both sitting on top of their division and they have both clinched a spot in the playoffs. It's a good time to be a fan of Team Liquid in the Americas region. Both Liquid players were able to assert their dominance through good meta reads and some simply outstanding rogue play. The rest of the playoff picture in the Americas region is starting to fill out, as Eddie also secured his spot in Division A, while in Division B, Monsanto is in a good position to secure one of the 2 remaining spots. In China, the inaugural GTC champions were crowned in the first week of June. Right before the Masters Tour in Las Vegas, Team Lucky Future won their double elimination tournament to end the first season. Team LF didn't drop a single series and beat tournament favorite Team World Elite once in the winners round and once in the grand finals to earn their trophy. In this week's meta moment, we have to highlight Team Liquid's rogue. Both Liquid players, Dog and Frozen, played their decks exceptionally and were able to win in unfavored matchups. With a combination of countless resource generators paired with consistent lackey and treasure pressure, the deck seemed to have an answer for every situation, while also packing an immense amount of burst potential. If you missed any of the Grandmasters action, you can check out the VODs on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Hearthstone Esports. Grandmasters resumes this weekend, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. That's it for us. We'll see you in the tavern.
We are back and ready to go with SamuelTsao and Pathra going against each other, and it is currently 1-0 to SamuelTsao on this Hunter, and just getting the job done. It was close, looked a little bit in my terrible word choice, like a bit wishy-washy, I would say, from SamuelTsao.
Yeah.
Just a couple of moments where it looked a little bit rough, in terms of not so much the game's result, but in just playing the turns themselves. Looked like there's a few gaps there. But let's take a look at the deck that SamuelTsao has changed to, as he does have his tertiary deck, which is going to be a removal of Mark, Shop, Thunder Rhino, and Unleash the Beast, and then 2 of these rat traps that we saw Staz favor heavily.
Favorly.
Whoa!
Wow,
okay,
that is one hell of a spooner.
Yeah, that was really weird. Anyway, favor heavily with these rat traps, and then 1 Wing Blast, which I actually do like quite a lot.
Yes, and I think that it could improvically drastically his chances
I hate
here.
you, Darren.
Yes, I think it will be a major boon to his overall game plan. The Wing Blast in particular. It's been a while since I've seen that card, and honestly, I find that surprising. When this card was announced, I remember so many people on social media just kind of saying, this is insane. This card is ridiculous.
I was one of them.
Right, exactly. And it is. It's 1 mana deal 4 damage. That is proven time and time again to be ridiculously powerful in Hearthstone, even when you have to discard a card to do it with Soulfire. Obviously, that's a bit different because it can go face. And it's now outclassed even by Vendetta, I suppose, for 0 mana deal 4 damage. But I like the spot here in Rogue. I think against the Rogue, sorry. I think it's fantastically placed to take out SI7 agents, Blink Foxes, Hedge Clan Burglars, everything that you're afraid of in the mid game. It's just an extra way to swing tempo back in your favor.
And I honestly think that the issue with Wing Blast and its popularity is mainly suffering from the Hunter deck. There's so many good Hunter cards, and the deck itself is so lean in terms of how you build it, because you want scale heights, you want the 1-drops, you want the hyenas, you want a rhino, so on, so on. And the Zul'jin needs to be good enough. Is that Wing Blast is often just doesn't quite get there. But I think it's a fantastic card to include in a secondary or tertiary deck. Let's see how it plays out now. Pathra does have an okay, I would say just okay opening. There's a 3-drop into a 4-drop and a Shadow Step. That's normally not too shabby to start off with. But SamuelTsao's opening looks very, very nice to me.
I mean, to be honest, I think for Pathra, when you're on the play rather than on the coin, this is pretty much as good as it gets as the Rogue. You can hope to hit like Miscreant with a backstab if your opponent plays into it. But overall, I think this is very, very powerful.
Sign me up to Animal Companion Town.
I agree. It's a good card.
miss the days when you could summon all 3 for 8 mana. Those were the good days.
How good would that card be at 8 mana now?
Very good.
Very good?
Yes.
Probably very
In
good.
a world
Yeah.
where Zul'jin is a
Oh my
playable
God.
card,
Yeah, okay.
that
Good
is
point.
good. Can you cast it before Zul'jin? Does Zul'jin cast it again? I'm
It's a
playing
good
it.
card. Yeah. Animal Companion is like, how many cards have there been that are just like this core in every deck since the start of Hearthstone? There's not many, right? I guess Backstab.
Backstab, I was
Gets
going to
there,
say.
I guess there's a Wild Growth was there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, not many.
Not
It's 'cause
loads. Yeah.
It's
They've
funny to
always
me.
been hit with the nerf hammer, right?
Yeah, the card's so good and has not been nerfed.
Yeah.
Because the problem they had with Hunter at one point is they were nerfing all the good cards and the other cards were trash, so it just destroyed the class for a few months.
True.
Wouldn't even mind seeing Deadly Shot here.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Like, the way it's looking for SamuelTsao, Kill Command is probably more valuable than Deadly Shot, I would say, from this point on.
Well, yeah, mainly because Kill Command can be a Deadly Shot a lot of the time in this matchup.
Wow.
And also, the Kill Command might be better because you can go face with it.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
very surprised that SamuelTsao using Kill Command there instead of Deadly. I guess there's a fear that the target's Kill Command doesn't become a Deadly Shot in, you can die to,
Well,
i.e. Van Cleave.
There's situations, right, where Deadly Shot can do the job that Kill Command cannot. Edwin being one of them, more likely, Shark. It cannot be targeted by the Kill Command. And I guess SamuelTsao is saying at the moment, his hand looks aggressive because Huffer has stuck around for a turn. Doesn't necessarily mean he has to go all in aggressive.
I'm just wondering if, like, if your opponent plays Shark and your Huffer gets to hit, what, 3 times? And you have a Kill Command in hand?
Like, it's pretty specific, but if your opponent goes like Shark into Life Drinker, then, you know, they can start to recoup most of the damage you've dealt. Or at least some.
Yeah. I think I'd play that game.
I think I probably would have used the Deadly Shot there as well. But there are situations where it works out much better for him this
You know
way.
what else I was considering? Also, the value of tracking and then Shimmerfly. Because tracking into something to do next turn is decent. Obviously, something to do next turn for SamuelTsao is Shimmerfly into Deadly Shot.
I just think that Patra's shown weakness to Huffer. Exploit that weakness as much as you can.
Yeah.
Push this piggy face turn.
This pig is going to keep on pigging. Because although Master's Call is a fantastic card, killing Shark and making your opponent kind of do 4 mana pass is very good too.
Yes.
What a swine. Any downsides to the Shimmerfly play here?
You don't play tracking, right? Which means that next turn your plays are slightly less powerful, maybe on average. But I think next turn, even if he just plays Master's Call plus whatever he gets off of that, that's a good turn.
Master's Call Hero Power is fine.
Exactly.
That's the selling point to me,
He doesn't
right?
need
Because
to upgrade his next turn.
Master's Call is a shinier tracking. It's tracking, except you don't discard the cards most of the time.
Right.
Because like, honestly, what does he... The only thing to track into is Dire Frenzy that you would rather do over Master's Call.
Yeah,
That's it.
Dire Frenzy, Rhino, maybe, but even then I'd say
think
Rhino
Rhino's
was quite
worse.
a low.
Yeah,
Yeah, not a particularly
I
good
think it would
turn.
literally be Dire Frenzy on Huffer or a second Kill Command.
Something like that, yeah.
But Master's Call gets you more damage, so it's...
As Patra has to go for just Snip Snap here and sap the Huffer. This pig has been insane this game. It's just getting so much damage. Oh, wow.
Wower. I mean, this game becomes straightforward to me.
Huffer hero power.
Yep. Maybe even Huffer. I wouldn't be so upset with Huffer Rat Trap, but Huffer Hero Power go, because what you need to do is add up damage. Kill Command, fantastic. Hero Power is great. Also, this Snip Snap will die and create tokens, which Unleash does more
That's
damage
true.
with. Like, you can just add up lethal almost from here based on the expectation you have of what your opponent's next few plays are going to be. And outside of something silly like Life Drinker Shadow Step, Life Drinker Shadow Step, Life Drink, you know, like...
Well, outside of something silly like Zilly, there's not much that can go wrong.
Yeah, but that's my point, right? Just add up the damage and you can get there. So I would play very, very, very aggressive if I was SamuelTsao. There are ways to not do that because of you might just be worried about the responses and if you can come back from those responses, but...
He's worried about Ziliax, right? Because this play from Pathra was not that strong. But if Ziliax comes down magnetized onto the snip snap, it's not game over on the spot. It's really, really bad for SamuelTsao, though. Like, that is disastrous.
Well, so that's correct. But the step after that is, can I do anything about it if it's Ziliax anyway?
Fair enough.
No?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Because what's the answer?
Yes, I agree.
Ziliax is going to be a pain regardless. But Pathra now spending a whole 6 mana, the whole turn, just killing this Huffer off, and it finally dies. Good job, Huff.
I mean, Huffer's just done God's work this game. Unbelievable amount of damage.
So now, Hero Power Unleashed.
Yeah, I'm looking at like tracking first and then Hero Power Unleash.
Yeah, whip the tracking in, why not? But really, you want to push 4, put your opponent down to 7.
I mean,
and then you win the game next turn. Right?
Has Pathra shown 100% she doesn't have Ziliax in hand?
Yes.
I think probably.
You would have healed.
Yes.
You've seen Deadly Shot. You've seen a kill command. You magnetize that snip snap and heal for a lot of damage.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I think Unleash Hero Power because of this Ziliax read. And I also think if you're going to put pressure on, keep putting pressure on. But Unleash Hero Power, push 4, put your opponent to 7.
Yeah.
Next turn, Shimmerfly kill command Hero Power, unless there's heal. If there's heal, well, carry on with the plan. They have double Master's Call.
I guess
can play the late game.
Yeah, he's not out if Pathra has the healing.
Like double Master's Call, a Rat Trap, like SamuelTsao can play the late game. That's fine. But I think opening up a 2-turn window to just win the game is very fine.
Probably Scale Hide? Yeah, I agree. I like this.
Nice. This is solid play.
Yeah, I like everything going face as well.
Sets
set
up
up the lethal.
And now Pathra needs
Yeah.
Ziliax or Life Drinker and a couple of other things to secure herself in this game.
That's not it.
That's not it.
Burglar's the out.
Yep.
Burglar is the out into like just some kind of healing. Like what's the new Paladin like? Lightforge key.
No, that's Divine Shield's the new Paladin card, isn't it?
Like Twin Spell, give a minion lifesteal.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant the new Paladin card.
Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, Lightforge Blessing.
Lightforge
Twin Spells. Also, there's the Priest heal, right? 1 mana.
Yes, that would have been good.
Heal 5.
Yeah. These ain't it though. Crystology does not draw heal.
Oh yeah, Cloning Gallery is still in the game. That card.
Not quite. In a couple turns, it could actually have won Pathra the game, but not right now. She just needs to pray the kill command isn't there.
Has to kill off the dog.
Well, she could still step the burglar and
okay,
exactly. Well, exactly the new priest spell, right? Like get the ability to heal for 5.
The Brotherhood.
Go for a cleave. Just make as much damage as possible and go for it. There's Leroy there as well.
This is 100% a better play, but it's going to lose the game.
Yeah, Patra's setting up as much damage as possible to try and, at least if she survives, get the return swing on SamuelTsao. We can see, though, with our ultimate godlike vision of seeing both hands, that SamuelTsao is going to win the game. Set up the lethal that we could see, and I think a very, very solid game plan from SamuelTsao in this one. There was a couple of weird moments in the last game from him. This game I thought was very solid. I mean, it wasn't the most overly complicated game in the world, but those are the ones you should always win then, right?
Yeah, I think he made a very, very conscious decision to not play around Ziliax anymore, and I think that was honestly the correct play, because the upside of if your opponent does not have that is you win the game on the spot, which is what happened, and the downside of if there had been Ziliax, or to a lesser extent Life Drinker, is he had double Masters.
Yeah,
he carried on with the rest of the game.
Hunter game, right?
Exactly, and then I think he still would have been in a good position, especially with his pickup of the Vicious Scale Hide, which I think was a fantastic choice there, because if it starts to go wrong and Pathra can heal, you then need to heal in response so that you're not dying to the rogue aggression. I think that was a very heads-up play by SamuelTsao.
Yep, really solid play, and he takes the win on this match. And that means we've only got one more left. So as opposed to yesterday, there was a rather lengthy evening of Hearthstone. It seems to be going fairly quickly, but we've got Tyler versus Shaxi coming right up. Shaxi, top of the leaderboard, been dominating his group similar to Alutimu in Division A. We'll see how he does. So Tyler versus Shaxi coming right up. Don't go anywhere.